Oh, yay, we're live. We're live, I tell you, we're live. How is everybody doing? I hope you're enjoying the season and this time of rapid growth and expansion. And as you can see, I have Steve Aldrich right next to me. Steve is I'm thrilled, excited, elated to have Steve join us, join the Catalyst team, and join IOHK. Basically, after being in this project as contributing a lot, and it's being an amazing facilitator, an amazing member of the community. Started I think one of the people who started the Discord channel, and I think that everybody on Telegram knows him and his amazing presence. And so welcome on board, Steve.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
I'm happy too. I'd love, I think I would love you to. I'm going to start the slides, and I think it would be really nice to if you could read the first slide out loud for us. Let me share the screen. So okay, actually I'm in the second slide, but here we go.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the experiment. Just to remind you, things may break. They may lack documentation, differ greatly between iterations. It might disorient, overload, but most importantly, it might inspire. Our goal here is to provide a safe and lively environment for you to explore the highest potential of human collaboration. So, welcome to the show, and it's time to vote.
So thank you, Stephen. That was great. So just before you leave, like, can you just tell a bit the community what's on your focus, what's important for you as you are starting this role as community manager?
Sure. Just real quickly, most of you probably know me, but I've been a long-time lurker. Didn't really join in too much until Catalyst hit. I was one of the ones that started the Discord channel, and I will say that activity is key. So my job, when Dor and Tim talked to me about coming on, they said, hey, Steve, just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll throw a couple of projects at you here and there. And the way that I see my job right now, the primary thing that I'm going to be doing is being in the community. I'm looking to figure out how we can grow our own experts, our community stewards, and working groups that we need to move this emancipation of ours forward. So what Dor and Tim asked me to do to begin with was to kind of be the liaison for the funded cohort, those of Fund 2 and soon to be Fund 3. As they become funded, we'll meet on a weekly basis and we'll report back to you all every 2 weeks how things are going. So look forward to that, and that's it. I'm jazzed to be here.
Welcome. Okay. Let me go back to my...
And get me off the screen.
Oh, yeah. You can, I think you can turn off. Yeah, you did it. Okay. Thank you, Stephen. Good things are coming. Next week, we also have a surprise guest for you, another community member turned community manager. But that will be next week. So today, well, I'm going to share a status report. We have some guests. We have Gimbal Labs. We have Mike that from now I call them the Community Advisors Guild, but their name is going to just change all the time, I think. But he's going to present some of the work they've been doing. Josh from WADA Alliance is going to talk about their work with African proposers. We're going to talk about voting for Fund 3 that's coming soon. Fund 4 refinement stage that's starting today. Short Q&A just to cover some issues if you have any. And we'll finish in a blast with Carlos giving us a workshop about metadata. So first of all, congratulations to us. We are the world's largest decentralized innovation fund by quite a bit. Okay, so our theorists at our researchers in IOHK, based on everything we know before about participation in decentralized governance, estimated that the amount of participation is going to be 60 million ADA. That we call it the rational model. But what we're seeing for Fund 3 registration is something like, I call it the super rational model. There's like at least, but I mean, I think there's more, but at least we counted 2.5 billion ADA participating. 2.5 billion ADA are part of this vote. So that's like more than 10,000 unique wallets that are participating. At this scale, over this week, we jumped from 10,000 people to 12,000 people. So just to give you a bit of a comparison, and looking at the numbers of how many voters does a governance system like Dash has, it's like about 1,000. If you take the top 100,000 Ethereum and combine them together, how many people, unique wallets, are participating in the voting? All the top 100 together is 1,100. If you look at how many participate in the Ethereum Gitcoin, like they have this their own like innovation fund, it's a bit less than 3,000 people. So you can basically add up all like Dash and the top 100 DAOs and Gitcoin and multiply it by two, and it's still not as big as we. Isn't that amazing? So I think going onwards, looking more, I think, outside the blockchain space into like general voting participation in governance, because we're just like flying by. These numbers are because of you. This astounding participation levels. You won the right to become voters. It wasn't given to you. It's like you did it because you proposed and you advised and you register and now you vote. Thank you. It's because of you. I do want to address the fact that we are not supporting yet for this voting round hardware wallets, and we had a voting threshold that excluded people that have less than 3,000 ADA. I think everybody who's concerned about this, and I think it's completely justified. Like I think that the entire reason why we're here to do decentralized governance is to be inclusive and include everyone. And this is in our hearts and souls of this project. The only reason why these groups have been excluded is, well, each one for its own reason, but for hardware wallets, it's because we're still building the integration. And once we know the exact timeline of when it's going to be delivered, we will announce it. But it will happen, I believe, in like not in the next voting round, but with a good chance it will happen the one after that. And although it's not just depends on us, it also depends on the hardware wallet vendor. So we can't really control it, but we can give you an update how things are going. And regarding voting threshold, our team of engineers are working really hard to reduce the threshold. It's an issue of security. It's also an issue of optimization of performance, of how we count the votes. And I expect that every voting round going forward, the threshold is going to be gradually lowered and lowered. And we won't rest until everybody is included. Also, I want to announce Fund 5. It's going to happen in about a month. If you remember, every 6 weeks, we launch a new fund. So we're already now at week 3, Fund 4. So Fund 5 is incoming. We're going to control somewhere between $1.5 million to $2 million worth of ADA. We will give you a more precise figure in the coming week or two, but at least $1.5 million. All the challenges happening in Fund 4 are going to happen again in Fund 5. Okay, so all the 7 challenges will happen again. Some will have increased funding amounts. We're going to announce it. And we're going to add a new challenge specifically about building applications using metadata in Cardano. And that's why we're going to have this workshop with Carlos at the end of the town hall. He's going to tell you all about it and about the commercial possibilities of it and about the technical affordances for it. And we're going to have all the community choice challenges, like everything you vote in Fund 3 right now. We have all these challenges on the ballot, not just proposals, but like completely new challenges that you can pick. So whatever's get voted in will be part of it. So as soon as we'll know the voting results, we'll announce those challenges as new challenges in Fund 5, chosen, created, and voted by the community. So if everybody wants to already start to prepare for Fund 5, I think it gives us a bit of information how to go forward. So good luck. Next, I want to call up the Gimbal team. Julie and James is representing them every week. We have a funded proposal from Fund 2. Come and talk a bit about what they're doing. So coming on board, I see James. I'm not sure if I see Julie.
Yeah, here I am.
Oh, here you are. Okay, are you two kind of co-presenting or doing turns?
I'm accompanying and jump in whenever it works, but James is the lead here.
Okay, so James, you might want to open your video and share. Do you have some kind of a presentation to share?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the toggle video button is not working here. It was working a minute ago. Has that ever happened to anybody?
No. Maybe if I toggle myself out, maybe you can like try now. Maybe it can only see 2 videos at a time.
Yeah, it's totally just disabled. I'm sure this, I'm sorry everybody, this must be on my end.
Okay. Well, I think worst case scenario, you can just like, share the screen, share the slide, and then
share the screen here, right?
Yeah. Anyway, you're like a tiny box at the end of the.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're not a tiny box, but in the screen.
All right. So can you see that screen right there?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I don't get to say hi face-to-face with everybody, but we would like to tell you a little bit about Gimbal Labs today. So we are a successful Fund 2 proposal, like you saw last week with the mobile SDKs and with Liquid. We got involved with Catalyst during the Fund 2 challenge, and so just to remind everybody, this was the challenge statement. During Fund 2, how can we encourage devs and entrepreneurs to build dApps and businesses on top of Cardano in the next 6 months? We came up with this problem statement. We recognize that there's high entry barriers for people who really want to be involved and who are ready to contribute their diverse experiences. We realize there's so much more than just building software that's going to lead to mainstream adoption of Cardano. And I want to encourage everybody here today. I know that Fund 4 is moving into the feedback phase. One of the things we did is we brought 2 proposals together. So Roberto, who was the co-founder of Gimbal Labs, along with Julie and me, had a proposal about open source APIs. My original proposal was about project-based learning resources. we got to talking and we realized that we could do so much more together. And I really hope that we can be a source of encouragement for folks who are reading each other's proposals right now and recognizing that you can do so much more when you're on a team than any of us can do by ourselves. So, Gimbal Labs. Our name is a little bit confusing, so I want to share a little bit about that in just a minute. Our mission and our vision. Our mission is really to mobilize everybody, all sorts of people across the Cardano community by creating tools and real-world use cases that ignite everyone's imagination and facilitate the ongoing adoption of Cardano. We believe that we're going to see a world where a lot of people are empowered to solve a lot of problems using Cardano. So why do we call ourselves Gimbal Labs? So this is a gyroscope right here, this picture on the right. A gyroscope consists of 3 independently rotating rings, and these rings are called gimbals. And the reason we chose this name for our organization is that we were reading about Girolamo Cardano himself, after whom this whole platform is named, and one of his claims to fame was that he was the first one to really describe what a gimbal is. He didn't invent it. He was just the person to really describe what it is and how it works, which to us sounds a little bit like the Cardano blockchain, right? Cardano didn't invent blockchains, but I think we're doing it better than everybody else out there. So we want to create a network of autonomous contributors who can all contribute on their own, maintaining as much autonomy as you want to have, while also collaborating with other people to do even more than you can do alone. So we had this original theory about who our users would be. We wanted to address eventually a mainstream audience, people on the street, and eventually local business owners. But how do we get there? Over the course of the last few weeks, we've really focused on what we need to do now so that we can eventually be sharing what Cardano is with a mainstream audience, with existing institutions, and with local business owners across the globe. So we're focused on developers. Now, I'm including Cardano enthusiasts and community members in this group because all of you know a heck of a lot about what Cardano is, even if you've never written a line of code. And within Gimbal Labs, what we're trying to do is bring together so many different kinds of talented people so that we can build flexible teams and just accomplish great things. So that's really our focus over the next few months, and it has been for the last few weeks. We've been testing hypotheses. So this slide up in the top left, this is just a screenshot of what Julie shared when she went on the gauntlet a few months back. We had this theory about APIs helping people start to build proofs of concept. We had this theory about Cardano starter kits really launching people into work. We published one yesterday about metadata, so I'm really excited to watch Carlos at the end of this. And you can check out our starter kit to see our treatment of metadata as well. Now, by exploring these hypotheses, we've really identified 3 main tracks for getting people involved. We want people to start out participating either by learning more, by tinkering with tools, or participating in groups of builders. So this is just a screenshot of our website, gimballabs.com, which we're still building day by day. You can go check it out. Just to say a word about each of these pathways. So along the learning pathway, we have a few different sorts of resources already. And we're focused on really trying to maximize both synchronous and asynchronous learning opportunities, right? Synchronous is getting together with people, learning together. And asynchronous is all that stuff that you can only do late at night, right? After your day job and your family obligations, we want to have plenty of resources that people can get into and play around with. Even more than that, we want you to have hands-on things to tinker with. So if you're a developer, this might be in the form of the Dandelion APIs or Lyft Wallet. But if you're just trying to see what different elements of Cardano can do, we're starting to build out a playground where you can go and just interact a little bit And everything we're doing is open source, all right? So you can even see the GitHub repo for our website. Go in, check out the code, make it your own, all right? And then we have a whole bunch of different experiments in participation going on. Initiatives are for devs and non-devs. The playground is really our attempt at integrating experienced devs who are new to blockchain into the Cardano ecosystem. A lot more to share on that. We have a bunch of different Catalyst proposers who are just showing up to get even just a little bit of help from the Gimbal Labs community. So if you have a project that you think you could use some support with, just stop by, introduce yourself, talk about what you're trying to do and who you need. And I bet you'll find somebody who can help you out. We really want a lot of the high-level conversations we've been having to lead to meaningful action. So you can see our initial theory is starting to lead to this hive of different sorts of work. We launched a development sprint yesterday. Much more on that to come. We've got a short content library being built by a new team of leaders. You can see over on the right side of my screen here just some of the channels that are available in the Gimbal Labs Discord. And so we invite you to get involved. We're going to stick around after Town Hall, and we will share a link in the chat. It's just a Zoom meeting where you can come and ask us questions, and we're just going to be hanging out. Anybody who has questions from everything I just said, there's also a Discord link you can join us, or just go poke around Gimbal Labs. Just like Steve said, he's a lurker. We encourage lurkers to lurk productively, and then we encourage you eventually to just jump in and start some conversations. So thanks for listening to this, everybody. I really hope to talk to you soon, and maybe see some of you after Town Hall.
Bravo.
Thanks, Dor. I wish I could say hi to you right now, but I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, and we'll see. Yeah, and we're gonna meet some more proposers, some more of the cohort, not proposers already, funded proposers next week. Stay tuned. Next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to share that Mike McNulty has been facilitating basically the community and specifically the community advisors to really look at our assessment process and iterate on it. And he's just been doing a wonderful job. So I don't think he could attend, so he sent us a video. So I'm just going to play that video, and he's going to present the work they did. So let's see.
All right. Hey, what's going on, Team Catalyst? Mike McNulty here, calling in to share a little bit about the first community retrospective and what the community was able to accomplish over the last couple weekends. So first, thank you to Dor and team inviting me on to share a little bit in this week's town hall. And thanks to Steve for helping to record since I won't be able to attend live. And biggest thanks to the community for making this thing a success and bringing it to life. So without further ado, let's jump into what we all put together. So over the last couple weekends, the community has been getting together in a tool called Mural and put together this board you're about to see coming up on the screen. And our goal was to do a retrospective. Quick level set, what is a retrospective? It's just a team coming together looking at the most recent iteration of work, last cycle of work, what went well, what could we do better, and what do we want to start doing. And so for us, we were really laser focused on what can we do better and what do we want to start doing. And not only that, but one of our guiding questions as we were going through this retrospective and thinking about those two questions was this question here. How might we improve decision-making and onboarding for Catalyst while managing explosive growth across all participant types? And the intention was that by doing this retrospective, not only could we come together as a community and put something awesome together, but also offer a springboard for the community as they were going through and trying to put together proposals for both the distributed decision-making challenge as well as the Catalyst value onboarding challenge. And so what did we actually do in these sessions? So week one, we were laser focused on pain points, kind of what did we see within the process and where do we see opportunities for improvement. So we spent that first hour together really going through from each of these different perspectives, thinking from a proposer perspective, from a CA, a veteran CA, as a voter. What are some of the pain points inherent to our process? So staying away from solutioning, we were just, what are the pain points? And then in the second session, we took those pain points to springboard and started to say, how can we start to address those pain points? Based on these pain points, we're seeing where are the opportunities in this process. Got a lot of great ideas, not only through the calls with the community on the phone, talking and discussing, but also lots of offline contributions with folks coming in here, offering their ideas, cleaning up the board, kind of organizing. It's exciting to see not only everyone come together on the calls, but also putting in the work offline. So once we got this view of the opportunities, we thought about, okay, we have all of these great ideas, some things we might be able to do to address these pain points, but we've only got so much time, we've only got so many bodies. So where do we want to spend all of our time? Where do we want to focus some of our efforts? So to that end, we did a little prioritization exercise, kind of thinking about how might we maximize effort, or how might we maximize impact with minimal effort? And we tried to rank those opportunities we came up with against both value and complexity. So, if we can actually execute this, how much value is it going to bring to the community? And to actually do it, how difficult would it be? And what we were really concerned with was this top right quadrant, where there was high value and easy execution. So these were the kinds of things like maybe having an expertise indicator, introducing some mentorship into the community, maybe doing proposal writing guides. So at the end of all this, it was cool to see that some folks were wanting to pick up some of these ideas, start running with them. The goal was definitely to have some proposals be informed by this work. So hopefully this recording can come out a little bit ahead of the town hall. We can get some new folks in here to see this work the community has put together and try to make some proposals out of it. So this is definitely a living document, even though we have come through here and had 2 sessions with the team. I would love to see this continue to evolve. I know that even after the last retrospective session on Saturday, there were some more folks coming in here. Someone had raised their hand to keep pushing ahead on some of these UI, UX ideas. We weren't able to get through all the opportunities and prioritize those on our call. So definitely encourage anyone that might be willing or interested, if you want to come through here and put some prioritization on the board, or some new ideas, whether you want to do that alone or with a small group. Definitely encourage. Would love to see this not only continue to evolve, but would love to see more and more proposals be based on some of this feedback. So you've got a really great starting point to see what does the community find valuable and where could you maybe step in here and put something together for the community that is going to be really useful. So I'll cut it off here. I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but it was a lot of fun. We had almost 20 people on that second call. So big shout out to everyone that joined and participated. Really encourage anyone that might be interested, definitely come in here, see what you might be able to add. But again, excited to see where the community takes this, what great proposals we might have coming out of this foundations we built together. But yeah, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Wow, Mike. I mean, you're not here right now, but you definitely are blowing our minds about what is possible, and just I think for me the level of professionalism and thinking in frameworks and thinking like this, thinking about the problem thoroughly and exploring the space is very impressive, and I think we're going to get really, really far if we continue to use this approach. So thank you so much. Actually, next person is, so I talked with, in Telegram, like Mercy mentioned that the WADA Alliance is working with African proposers to onboard them to a D-Scale and help them launch proposals. I thought this was actually really interesting of note, and I think everybody here is interested to learn a bit about what they're doing. So welcome,
Hi.
Josh.
Hi, Dor. How's my volume?
You sound great.
Perfect. So do you. Hi, everyone. All right. So I'm just going to jump straight into it and get the presentation going. All right. So hopefully you can see the screen there. Okay, so hello and welcome to the WADA presentation. My name's Josh Fielding. I'm the co-founder and global lead for WADA. Thanks for the opportunity to present. We've been hard at work from Fund 1 and the beginning, so I'm grateful for the chance to give a broad overview of what we've been up to and our plans after Fund 3 and sort of explain how we've already started onboarding companies onto the Catalyst platform. I believe we only have about 5 minutes to boil down 6 months of work, so don't be mad if I do have to flick through some of the slides. Contact the team and we'll set up a more extensive interview if the time wasn't enough. If you have any questions, drop them in the slide link, and if we get time, we'll address them. If not, we'll save them and address them in a future interview. And I think Mercy is on hand in the chat with the links. So as we know, Cardano is very bullish on Africa, whether that's from a purely economic standpoint or otherwise. The point is that the continent is now in the spotlight. So it's up to us as a community to figure out what to do about it and how to build a structure that can support, thousands of developers and potentially billions of users. So as we know, there's a huge market opportunity in West Africa and the wider continent. Where WADA wishes to start is create these local hubs, local resource hubs in each country and incubate developer upstarts in terms of onboarding them into the Cardano ecosystem and providing them with the tools they need to start developing with Plutus and Marlow. We'll do this by gradually extending our reach once a pilot number of hubs have been established, say 4 to 5 hubs. Then once we have a working model, we'll then launch in every country across the region. So with our background, close working ties, with some of us having worked together over 5 months already, we are well equipped to take on this ambitious project together. And a special mention goes to Jacob Tete, who's our in-house designer, working for months on logos and graphics for us and our partner projects for free. So with the trust that his work will be supported eventually. So all logos and graphics come through here, the nice iconography you can see. So if you want to show him some support, please do so. His Twitter handle is @CardanoJacob. So here's the WADA story. We didn't make it in Fund 1 or 2, but since then, we've been very busy, just volunteer hours to make this work. So about a month ago, interest started bubbling through Twitter, YouTube, IdeaScale, and the sheer willpower of our founder and communications lead, Mercy Techimenson, who's across any and all platforms. I'm sure you've heard of her. So all these proposals we have, there's already a network effect happening where we're combining resources, streamlining proposals, and already finding synergies with a partnership and sponsorship already on the table outside of Catalyst. We've added specialties also for good reasons that there isn't time to go into, but if you see these different hubs in IdeaScale, know that your vote goes towards something specific in most cases. WADA remains the administrative and educational center for all the various hubs to connect with. Where we go in the future is much broader than this, of course. So how far we go with this is how far the Cardano community is willing to go with us. What do you want to see this turn into? Have you thought about how companies built on top of Cardano will communicate and network in the future? It's very likely that we will be setting up a global coalition and token aspect down the road, but step by step, let's get WADA in place first, formalize the process, then begin to branch out. Though if you are from other regions, we'd still like to hear from you and begin forming these relationships in the background. So yeah, ask yourself, what would it look like if there was a network of these hubs and alliances that could all align through a shared vision of the future? So there may be some people out there scratching their head wondering, how does WADA make money? How do I profit from this? I would say at this point, those are probably the wrong questions. Instead, frame it as what has WADA done so far and how can this be the team to lead the way for Cardano in West Africa. So if you believe in what we're doing at WADA and our long-term vision for the continent, please follow the link below and find out more about the team and then vote once Fund 3 opens this Friday. Mercy will post a link in the chat, this bit.ly. So here's an exclusive preview of what we've been working on for Fund 4 and beyond. The Catalyst system is notoriously hard to navigate for new proposals. So what we are providing is advice, training, and mentorship for both companies and individual hubs. So if you're interested in finding out more about the team, projects, or future partnerships, these are various ways to contact us. So please do so. The Discord link is good for the first 100 invites. So make a note of it if you're interested. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for your attention. And we will be hosting a Zoom Q&A after the town hall, and we'll post a link. And so don't forget, we add to multiply. See you next time.
Yes. Oh yeah. Wow. Wow, I think this was a really impressive presentation. Just everything you're doing, but also how crisp and concise and to the point and directed you all are. It's again, I might just my mind keeps blowing up again and again.
Yeah, good to hear.
Really incredible work, and I wish you all the best.
All right, thanks. So we'll speak again soon. Bye, everyone.
Okay, wow, it was so good to bring guests. So much better than talking for 2 hours straight. Unfortunately, now is a good time to actually talk a bit about voting. So and all the upcoming things. So some talking is required from me, not just from other people. Though we should just keep inviting more and more. It's so good. Okay, so as you're going to vote, so voting starts opens up on the 5th, so that's in 2 days. 2 days at 19 hours UTC. This is the big moment where there's lists of hundreds of proposals, and it's around 100, a bit more than 100 proposals to vote on, and it's for you to decide who are going to get funding, who remain in our innovation evolution process until they are ready. So as you do it, just remember, Catalyst is not a regular company. Catalyst funds have some magical properties. We can launch hundreds of experiments a year. We allow crowds to explore without cuff, so they can explore really hard problems that might seem, really wicked problems that almost seem unsolvable. But we can prototype one prototype at a time. We can chip away at these problems. That we can mobilize thousands in weeks. Right? Every time we set up a challenge, it's we get all these solutions and all these teams ready for action. And also there's no need for consensus. The results speak from themselves. So we launch these prototypes, we see what the outcomes are, and we learn and iterate much better than a regular company. So when you vote, think about the proposals that kind of fit that model well, that use these special powers well. And of course, as a voter, you're kind of like the steward, the holder of keeping the proposals to be focused on solving the challenges that were presented, those big intentions that we set. So the 3 ones that are in Fund 3 is the dApp creation challenge. So I'm asking what dApps should be built to drive user adoption. So it's all about user adoption. There's going to be 76 proposals in this challenge, and a total of $250,000 in ADA for it, dedicated to it. And we're going to ask did the funded dApps manage to drive user adoption? Okay, so as you go and look at those different proposals, like really ask yourself, how are we, like, how much do I think it's likely that this specific approach that is being proposed is going to address this? So like, which ones can you actually visualize, see users adopting? The second one is the dev ecosystem challenge. So the focus here, instead of end users using dApps, it's about developers that are building dApps. So it's all about making it easier for developers to build stuff on top of Cardano. So we're going to ask ourselves at the end of the challenge, did we attract and onboard developers to our ecosystem? So then again, when you think about, when you go through the challenges and the proposals, really think about who do you think is more likely to get us there. The last challenge is one that's it's a bit tricky sometimes to think about, because it's a challenge about setting next challenges for Catalyst. So it's kind of meta. Call it the community choice challenge. And the question is, what challenges should we launch in Fund 5? So the next fund, in order to fulfill Cardano's mission. So what do I mean? Like the same way that this is a challenge, the dev ecosystem challenge, and the dApp creation challenge is a challenge. We ask the community to propose similar challenges, but instead of the Catalyst staff that we pick them, it's actually the community who created them. And through this process of getting feedback from the community, like, evolve them to the ballot. And now it's time for you to pick, what are the targets that we're setting ourselves? Which problems are we prioritizing to solve during Fund 5? Okay, so there are going to be 27 proposals there. The total amount of funding that the challenges have is $400,000 in ADA. That means that, let's say there's a challenge that asks for 200,000 and another that asks for 200,000, and both of them are voted, then they're both in the budget, so they both will happen. If we vote in like 10 proposals, each one for 40K, they're all going to be in. If we vote in one for 300 and then one for 200,000, then if the 300,000 was like picked first, then there won't be budget for the second one. Okay, we're going to talk about the logic of voting later, but just to understand so the budget here is not like how much the proposer is asking. This is actually how much total budget for future proposals to ask for funding in that particular challenge. Next is, I think it's really important to emphasize that effective decision making is a team sport. Okay, so we can all sit in front of our computers in our living rooms and like look at the app and think hard and make our own minds and vote, and there will be a sort of collective intelligence that's going to be created by this, but not as effective if we do these three things: listen, coordinate, and analyze. This is going to be key, and this is like really, really important part of the entire Catalyst experiment. How effective can we turn our decision-making process, and how can we evolve it over time? And this is your chance to experience it first. I think for many, many of you, this is a chance to experience it first time. For us, this is just the second time we're doing this, and we actually haven't built yet a lot of tools. We have a few things to offer you, but I think one of the most valuable things we're going to learn from this round is we're going to learn from all your experiences and maybe sometimes frustrations, how to improve and what kind of additional tooling and infrastructure we need to really make impactful decisions together, really smart decisions. So first of all, listening. IDScale is your place. You can go to the proposals in IDScale. Actually, in the voting app, you'll have a direct link there. You can read the comments that people made, like all sorts of questions that people asked and opinions and that people offered and feedback that people gave. And you can look at the proposing team, if they've been reactive, if they know to listen themselves, if they've changed and modified their proposal, if they had thoughtful comments to replies to the comments made. And a second thing that's really important is we had these community advisors that were looking at, that were actually using a very structured process, okay, to review each proposal. And you will see the score of them in the voting app, but there's also, they left a rationale. Why did I make this score? And that's attached to the bottom of every proposal. So there's like a segment called annotations. If you scroll down to each proposal in ADScale, you open it up, you will see the annotations, and you need to click that button. And suddenly you'll get like explanations from the advisors explaining why do they think it's impactful or not, why do you think it's feasible or not, and whether they assess that the team put enough information to even assess it. Okay. And lastly, there's a lot of bottom-up efforts from the community to broadcast and share opinions about the different proposals from the proposing teams, but also from the community itself. So just tune into that, and I hope that what will emerge from this fund is some more channels and broadcasts and ways for us to basically kind of swim inside this decision-making space and be more informed. And in the end, talk to the proposers, listen to them. If you have a question, you can go to the ADScale page of the proposal and ask a question, have a conversation. So for a lot of you that are new, you probably wonder what are these community advisors, those reviewers. So basically, in Fund4, we had 65 different community advisors as members of the community that came and submitted valid assessments. So valid assessments were those that contained the rationale in them, and also that we had a second round of review by veteran community advisors, and they looked at and they looked at reviews that were flagged as unfair, and then made the final judgment. Okay, to kind of filter out people who just reviewed without reading and stuff like that. So it was a pretty thorough process this time to make sure that these reviews are of good quality. And each of these advisors were asked to rate each proposal by impact, feasibility, and auditability on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 means I strongly disagree, 5 means I strongly agree about each one of those criteria. So, use that as a resource for decision making. Use their work, because reading 100 proposals can be a hard ask, for someone that's like not full-time committed, even if you have 3 weeks to do so. The third thing is, the second thing is coordination. Okay, so you can join the announcement Telegram channel, where we will share, when voting ends and other key dates in the Catalyst process. You can keep informed. Then you can go one level deeper. You can join the Catalyst chat channel on Telegram, and Anna, I hope you are sharing these links to get more, to even be more informed and get support and ask questions and really engage in a discussion. And then if you really want to get, if you feel really enthusiastic and really want to be engaged, then go to our Discord channel, where we have more than 1,000 members, and the proposing teams are there, and you can have a chat with them and coordinate your efforts. I think the big I'm going to talk about one more thing about coordination in the end, but yeah, the third thing is to analyze, and the analysis is very, very tied to coordination, because the key to making good decisions is to be able to zoom out from just looking one proposal at a time and see the bigger picture. Okay, see that we have this big challenge, and there's like a set of proposals that we can define together that would be the best fitted to kind of like attack this problem. And for this, I want to give you two examples of people who give us this ability to take a bigger look. Okay, so these are bottom-up proposals. One is by a community advisor, Greg, and I want to share the work he did for Fund 2, and I really hope he's going to do one for Fund 3 as well. But you can see here in his analysis that he looked at this is a Fund 2 example. So he took a look at all the different proposals, and he started to create like his own score, an analysis according to like the funds requested, what percentage they're asking, and basically like he proposed like his own expert ballot. So setting like, you know, according to my analysis, like this should be the ones that voted yes, this one should abstain, this one I'm going to vote no on. And, you know, he provided reasoning. You know, I'm not going to go into all details. The link is here, and I hope you're going to explore it. But, you know, he really did a really thorough analysis, quite amazing. So he set a very high standard for everybody else, I have to say. And I think that what can be really beautiful is that if it's not just Greg, okay, because Greg is amazing, but he's just one person and one perspective. Can we get more people in this community to come and do this kind of sort of analysis? It doesn't have to be as rigorous, but really share their perspective and publish it and share it with the community to inform us too. And I think over time this can evolve into a real discussion inside the community, and several types of this like expert ballot recommendations. Okay, so this is one example of analysis that is possible. I want to bring up another tool to help you analyze, which is the beautiful Project Catalyst dashboard created by Danielle or Danny. Okay, I scroll down here 1 second. Okay, so what Danny did is aggregates all the information. You can see here like these different tabs. It kind of like gives you a big overview of Project Catalyst from all the all useful links and the timelines, etc. To all official documentations, a recording of all town halls. But then, you know, then we get into the meat. You know, we get into Fund 3. The different types of proposals, how many kudos they got in ID scale, how many comments were there, like how much engagement they have. He would aggregate the ratings from the community advisors. He started to categorize them, look at the percentage of the funds, you know, for each and every challenge. It's like a treasure of Fund 3 purse. I don't even know what that is. Okay, so, you know, it's bringing up the general budget for the fund, but, you know, if you want some data and some information to zoom out, there you have it. Okay, really impressive, really impressive community. Really impressive work by Daniel. Okay, so back to the slides. So yeah, so we need more expert ballot recommendations. Okay, we need to start to build that infrastructure, that beautiful framework for decision making, this soup of insights. Good way to start is you can join. We have a Telegram channel for community advisors. You can join in there and say hi. Say you're interested to create an expert ballot recommendations and seek help and support. So I really invite you to start the journey if you're into that sort of thing. Right now, this Catalyst is still in an early stage, and this is like amazing time to join and really have a giant impact on how this process works going forward. And lastly, as you know, as we go into voting, we go into campaigning, we go into discussions and arguments and trade-offs. Let's keep being aware that negativity undermines our long-term goals. Okay, so better to, if you see someone who's being really negative and kind of like sucks your attention and this turns into a discussion that turns like defensive and not so collectively intelligent, better to ignore and put your energies on those who think in a constructive way. Some technical notes about voting. There's gonna be issues, okay, with the voting. It's still early in beta mode. The most common thing that's gonna happen is once voting starts, you might have come to some error states and you will need to reinstall the app, rescan the QR code, and re-input your PIN to continue. Okay, so this is basically the generic solution for 99% of issues you're gonna encounter if you're not seeing your voting power after voting starts. And we're gonna announce the start of voting in the Catalyst announcement Telegram channel. Another thing is like we have a lot to learn, how to improve. So use this link for IOHK Zendesk to report any bugs and any issues you have so we can fix them for next time. And lastly, we kind of like said it repeatedly, but you know, if you lost your QR codes or you lost your PIN code, you're not going to be able to vote. So we're sorry about that. You will get your voter rewards though, because you took all that trouble. But don't be disheartened. There's always next round. We will have less bugs, and maybe you'll remember to save your QR code and PIN code this time. Okay. So let's talk about using your voting power. You need to think about voting power like it's like your voting power. It's basically kind of like one-to-one to the ADA balance you have on your staking key. So this is like the amount you have staked. That's your voting power, and you need to think about it like a cat. Okay, so you have a cat and it have 8,000 voting powers. It means that every time the cat is making a decision, it's using its entire power. It's using 8,000. So it votes yes on proposal A, so it gets plus 8,000 votes. It votes no on proposal B, so it's minus 8,000 votes for that proposal. And you can go and change your vote. So up until the time the voting ends. So let's say that's how you voted, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to change that. I'm actually going to vote yes. So that overwrites your old vote, right? Your old vote was minus 8,000. Now it's going to be plus 8,000 because that's your new vote. And, let's say you change your mind again. And now you decided that proposal A, you voted yes, but now you want to vote no. So that would overwrite your old vote, and now it will get minus 8,000 proposal A. Okay, so every time you vote with the whole voting power. You can change your votes as many times you want, at least this time, and only the last, your last vote is going to count. Last thing, there's a neat feature in the voting app where you can actually submit. You can vote on many things, and then you can cast them at once. So you can vote on all proposals, and then just like press once to submit them on the blockchain. We're using the Jormungandr blockchain. There's no transaction fees. But we're making it easier for you. So don't vote and cast. You can vote on everything, and then that kind of like you're going to have some kind of like you're in a shopping app and you have a checkout, you know, so you're going to have all your votes in the checkout area, and then you just like vote on them once, and they're all out there in the blockchain. So enjoy that nice feature. One more thing as you vote, like just be mindful of the voting algorithm. So this is the results from Fund 2, okay, and see how that worked, okay? So, and that's going to happen for each and every challenge, okay? So proposals are competing for funds within a challenge. So you have, so we had this amount of funding available. Everybody voted. We sorted all the results by, you know, amounts of plus votes minus the down, like all the up votes minus the down votes, and then we created the list, ordered list. You know, like first one asked for $535 in ADA, bam, okay, that was deducted from our total funding. Next one asked for 41,000, bam, deducted, okay, it goes and goes and goes and goes down and down. Suddenly we got to a place where a proposal was voted yes on, right? There was like 103,000 voters versus 67,000 voters that voted yes. So like a lot of ADA was like said that they want this, but the budget was $77,000 and we only had $32,000 available. So it was not funded. It was skipped. Okay, so this is not received funding, but although the community approved it, but we skipped to the next one. Suddenly these two were in budget. And then like, and you see, and then there was like another one that was like under the budget, so it was skipped. And that continues on and on down the list until everybody's, until we run out of budget or we run out of proposals. So I hope that helps you get a bit understanding of the logic of what happens in the end. So that's about voting. One last thing is just see that there's 3 weeks for you to vote. You can take your time. You know, this is not like general elections when you have just like a day to, everything that happens in one day. We have 3 weeks. You can come, you can try, you can vote, you can talk to people, you can change your mind, you can have a discourse. Isn't that nice? Enjoy. All right, so let's talk about the Fund 4 refinement stage. So we're moving away from Fund 3 voting. We're talking about what's going on right now, which was last week. Like today, we're closing the submissions of drafts. And now we have an entire week for 2 things, for give structured feedback to proposers to help them improve their proposal, and for the proposing team to build their team, to buff up their team. So everything about this week is about helping proposals evolve to better address the challenge. I'm happy to announce that I'm sure this number is higher, but at least up to like an hour and a half ago, we had 308 proposals submitted to all 7 challenges. So there's definitely a lot of work and evolution to massage all of these into a good shape. And it's like everybody's in. The proposing team, the voters, the commenters, the community advisors, we all are going to help create together value to solve the challenges and sustain the Cardano network. So as I said, you can join a team. So as you as an individual, you can either join a proposing team or you can give constructive feedback. How can you join a team? So we have these tags that you can use. So if you go to the ID scale interface and you go into a challenge, you can see that you can sort it by tags. And when you sort it by tags, you see that there's like tags of like seeking, blockchain dev, seek marketing, seek writer, seek community. That means this team indicated they have some gap in their team, that they're looking for someone. So if you see a proposal you like and you see that it seeks something that you can provide, send them a message. Maybe you can join them as an implementer and help them get that thing. So you as an implementer, you also get paid in ADA. So it's a win-win. Another thing you can do is go to our Discord channel. There's a pitch to devs channel. So a lot of people, as you can see, are looking for devs, a known bottleneck in any kind of technology development project. So you can come and use the channel to pitch them your proposal and see if anybody is interested. You can also use the Dev for Hire hashtag to pick developers in your proposal. So good luck improving your team, getting it ready for the next stages. Another thing we want everybody to do is give feedback. So, and I really encourage everybody who would like to take part in and be a community advisor, start by giving some feedback now. When people can still fix and correct before the assessment starts. It's a good exercise for you. It's a good way for you to test the waters if you like that kind of work. And it's really helpful for proposers and the Cardano network. It's a great way to nudge proposers in the right direction. I think for a lot of them, this is the first time their proposal kind of really gets feedback, and they want to hear from you. As someone who gives feedback, think when you read a proposal about what needs to happen to this proposal. So if I would have assessed it, I would have given it 5 stars on each category. So on auditability, on impact, on feasibility. And try to tell them what needs to happen, like from your perspective. So in that vein, we're launching the feedback challenge, where we ask members of our community, so each one of you, to go on ADSK, look at Fund4 proposals, browse the challenges, find proposals that don't have a lot of feedback, that obviously you think are worthwhile your efforts. So if you think someone is not being serious at all, maybe don't spend time. But if you think somebody has something interesting idea, or the team is interesting, something is kind of lights you up, go and give them some feedback. And at the end, once you do that, go to our chat group and tag feedback challenge, and with the title of the project you commented on, just to show you care. So lastly, as we move into voting and giving feedback and forming teams and all that stuff, really think about how you spend your time, being productive time, not distractive time. For example, helping your proposals, helping proposals improve, working with commenters, joining teams, merging proposals, removing proposals, writing long-form blog posts, doing analysis of decision-making. These are all things that really provide a lot of value and can really promote the projects, all the projects. Things that are destructive is going into, just giving negative, just unconstructive feedback, being negative, being argumentative, being defensive, joking around, being not serious, arguing. All that stuff just saps the energy out of you. It doesn't really, and in the end, you look behind, oh wow, oh my, I got all worked up. Did we actually move the needle? Did we actually improve our return on intention? So just be aware. We live in a society where it's very easy to get distracted. Let's try to offer a better model to the world. Don't feed the trolls. Okay, so before we start the workshop, I did give a lot of info. There was a lot of information shared, and I do want to answer some questions for a bit. So I'm going to look at the questions posted here according to order of votes, and I'll try to get a few. I think I'm just going to do 5 minutes, so Carlos has some time to talk about metadata. Okay, so Demeter Marton is asking, Demeter, what if one has a lot of ADA and distribute it into smaller proportions and vote for her own idea, founding itself via Catalyst. Can Ouroboros somehow detect it? It could hurt decentralization this way by rich people. Okay, so there's a few questions. There's a few assumptions here. So first of all, there's no need for you to, like, you know, if you have a voting power of 8,000 and then you split it up into smaller, like, wallets, it's still going to add up to 8,000. So it doesn't take you anywhere. Okay. So there's no reason to do that. You can just use one wallet with your voting power, and you don't increase your voting power by voting for many wallets. Okay, so that's one. Second of all, yeah, people can vote on their own proposal, and probably people do. But that's the beauty of decentralization. We have 10,000 unique voters and billions of ADA involved. To make sure that no one actor can just do things, you know, for his own self-interest, and we all, like, you know, organizing ourselves to think about the greater good of the network. How cool is that? So I hope that, I think there's like a more complex discussion here about, you know, rich people hurting decentralization. I think right now we're very fortunate in the Cardano network that the distribution is pretty good. You know, it's not like dominated by very few actors, but it's actually pretty well distributed. But this is definitely an ongoing process of still, like, you know, you don't want just a few actors to determine it. And one good way to prevent it is coordination. So coordination between teams, coordination between types of users, to counteract. So a lot of smaller fish can eat a big fish. Okay. Also another, by the way, the best way to do it is just to convince everybody you're right, and then you have no opposition. Make good arguments, be trustworthy, be a nice person that shows that you're a good collaborator. All right, but it's like a really huge question. Okay, anyway, is the voting power linear to amount of ADA held? Ask Johan. Yes, it is. Iran is asking, Israel, is there any plan to decentralize the pools even more than the saturation mechanism today? I don't know, I work on Catalyst. Sorry. Papa Nas is asking, is there a way to see/check how many wallets are registered for voting? Yes, I noticed it's not completely accurate. I think it's not accurate in the calculation of the total ADA, but at least in number of unique wallets. The ADA Pool's website, I'm sharing the link on the chat right now. That's good for tracking number of unique wallets, because I think our team did its own independent measure and it looked very similar. The total amount of ADA did not match our snapshotting tools. So that is a bit suspicious. I would suspect that total ADA amounts, it's actually larger than what they display. Gareth, I really like the Cardano project and what you are doing. I'm registered to vote. I'm also a personal trainer. Yes. Is there any way to incorporate Cardano ADA into a rewards program to encourage people to stay fit, healthy? Yes, there is a way. It's like, I mean, the way potentially exists. I think someone needs to build it. Could be a great idea for a proposal. Thanks, Gareth. Ronnie is asking, can Daedalus with multiple wallets have a facility enabling maybe functionality, enabling manual linking, unlinking of each wallet balance to the wallet registered for Catalyst voting instead having to move ADA to it from each wallet prior to snapshot for the purpose of increasing voting power. It can. I mean, we're going to, not necessarily like this. The problem you indicated is like, okay, you have multiple wallets and you want to vote and not move funds. It's on our roadmap. We're working on a solution. I will update the community once this is once we establish the delivery date for that. It shouldn't take super long. It will be in 2021 for sure. Will it be possible? Nick. I don't pronounce your last name. I'm sorry, but one day I will know how to do it. So Nick is asking, will it be possible to select unvote on a project? In Fund 2, once you selected the fund to vote on, you may only choose between yes or no, where no is a negative sign, which I might not want to select. No, it will not be possible. I guess what I would suggest to voters is like, when you actually make a decision about something, make sure that you actually opinionated about it in a yes or no and don't want to like remove yourself. It is a nice feature. I think it's a nice feature suggestion, and we'll definitely consider it, especially if a lot of people ask for it, and it's not just like very few, because in the end we need to prioritize. So do let us know in your feedback forms. We're going to send you a feedback form once voting starts to tell us about your voting experience. We're going to collect all the feedback and we're going to prioritize it, and we're going to deal things that are like a lot of people are bothered with. We're going to prioritize and do first. So, so if a lot of people agree with you, we will take care of this too. Obviously, there's like 10 million things we can do better. So imagine, where do we start? Okay, I'm going to stop answering questions, and I want to give the stage to Carlos, because he's been waiting patiently for a long time, and metadata is awesome and important. Anna, do we have Carlos around to beam up? Okay. Maybe there's like yes.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good.
Welcome to the town hall.
Thank you, Dor. Pleased to meet you all. It's pretty exciting to see the amount of collaboration and interaction that everyone is having. You all guys are having a blast with this. It's great. It's great to see such a lively community, positive, working towards a one objective that will help us all in the future. All right, Dor. So let me actually just set this stage and start talking a little bit about what should we expect out of today. So first of all, and before we start, let me just introduce myself. So I'm Carlos Vargas Montero. I work as a director of professional services within IOHK. So, but what exactly does that mean? Whenever a company contacts us because they have a business problem and they want to solve it utilizing our technologies, then my team jumps in, the commercial team, and we are within the commercial department. My team jumps in, and we bridge the gap between the business case, right, and the problem and the technologies and the products and the platforms that we are having. So you could see why I wanted to start touching base with Dora and with you, all of you, because you do want to do something very similar. You have problems, you see in Cardano an opportunity to solve them. You just need to bridge the gap. So it will benefit us all if I just start showing up a little bit more frequently, hopefully in the future, and start telling you and sharing with you all the experiences that we have, helping you hopefully also achieve your own goals. So with this interaction, I have two main objectives, right? The first one is to help you ignite new ideas, to help the entire community ignite new ideas, to think different about or in a new ways about how you could utilize Cardano. And the second one is, as I just mentioned, my day job is just to bridge that gap between business problems and the platform. So why not just start sharing or start collaborating, start just presenting here from now and then a little bit of what we have been able to learn. So now, this one is named a metadata workshop, but I see it a little bit more as a series of interactions. Why? Because I would love to see, after just having this initial talk, and maybe in the next fund proposal or so, a couple of initiatives or a couple of proposals that ignited just of these conversations. So I don't think it has a start and an end in this short conversation. I will try to be brief, right, because we have been sitting here for more than an hour. But I just see this as a starting point of hopefully a added value to the community just by being able to share and to collaborate with you and share the experiences that we have had. So we are, okay, so let's talk a little bit now about the specific of metadata. So why it is important that we talk about that? It is important because some of you might be blocked by the fact that Plutus is not right now on Cardano without realizing that maybe a first version of your idea or a first version of the solution of your product or project is readily available right now with this just simple, very simple capability of the platform. And let me actually even talk about what we have been able to do with metadata in the past, so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. So first of all, many of you may probably know about the collaboration that we do with Nuance and the deployment that we did a year back, right? A couple of years back. So it bears the question, right? We were able to build an application for Nuance that authenticated product for them, the sneakers, more specifically. But if Plutus is not ready or not in the platform right now, it wasn't there a year ago. So how exactly did we did it? And the solution or the answer to that is metadata. Because for you to authenticate product, sorry, and to provide a first version of that solution, you don't necessarily need the full-fledged smart contract solution. With only metadata, with the help of some hardware components, you could get there. Just one second. Sorry about that. So the other thing that we did also in the past year was BeefChain. BeefChain is a traceability solution, and we were able to do it with only the metadata capabilities. Let me give me just 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. I got something at the middle of my throat there. I don't know what was it. Okay, so the second one was is BeefChain. So BeefChain is a traceability solution for people to actually take meat from farm to table, and we were able to implement it with only metadata. So there are other ideas that we can nurture with only that capability, and you could also see it as maybe you have a grandiose vision of a solution that you want to build. And for you to reach that grandiose vision, you will need smart contracts. But does that mean that you need to wait until that to actually make something happen? Maybe not. Maybe you could start with this series of capabilities. You provide something, you actually test your idea on the market, you gain users, you start asking those users or start gathering information and feedback from those users to evolve and even validate if your original idea of that grandiose vision was even on the right track. So the other thing that may blow your mind as well, like you might know Atala Prism. A third person is an identity solution that we have built, right? There's a very cool demo out there, and a third person only utilizes metadata, right? So I mean, I just want, if I achieve my goal today, guys and girls, I would be igniting in all of you. I will be opening a door for you to consider that maybe there is a first step with the capabilities that are right here that you could do, that you could propose. And I will be igniting new ideas for these in the next funds that surround the capabilities of metadata. Now, let's deep dive a little bit more into then how shall we think about metadata? Now that I have made a point of there are many applications that can be built with it. So the way you should think about metadata is like a database, right? Like a shared database where you can have different people coordinating, and the trust comes from the blockchain. So you have different people that want to share information. It doesn't mean that the information needs to be public. There are ways of sharing information in a private manner and just maintaining the proofs on the blockchain. So you have several actors that want to either agree or need to share data or need to run a workflow on a data, need to evolve or need to agree on something. And you can have all those personalities. Instead of one of them implement a centralized database and providing access to everyone else, you can have blockchain as a database, and you can utilize certain mechanisms by so that you only store the necessary information in there. So you don't want to store like the entirety of information in the blockchain anyway. You just want to store the necessary information for you to achieve your business goal. Like in the case of blockchain, for instance, or traceability in general, you don't store all the documents in it. So you store the documents remotely, and then you attest the documents against the blockchain with hashes, for instance. So whenever an idea for you, for instance, if you wanted to create a use case where you need a workflow, an auditable, decentralized workflow, let's say even something as simple as Hello Sign or DocuSign. If you have utilized these two services where it coordinates signatures and then creates the final version of the document, provides a timestamp, digital signatures, and all that's all good and nice. You can build that only with metadata, because what you need to build that use case is just to have that repository in which you can have the document, you can have the signatures, and you can attest that the document existed a specific point in time and that it has not been tampered with. So you have to think it as a database with specific properties. It is immutable. The timestamp is implicit, so you can know when the document existed, right? You have to bear in mind that the writing of it can take some time if you want to be 100% certain that the change will not have a reorganization, right? Like exactly in the same way that you wait for confirmations when you're doing transactions sometime. But that is a point where you can have different parties agree on an event, agree on a document, and so on and so forth. So again, I wanted this to be short. I just wanted to ignite that in you, and I wanted you to meet me. And hopefully in the future we'll have other events, other interactions where we can refine our understanding of how exactly can we utilize all these set of technologies.
Thank you, Carlos. Maybe just a few tidbits extra. So first of all, we're going to launch in a few weeks a new challenge just about metadata. Okay, so we're not sure about the final amount. I think it will be somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 in ADA for for this particular challenge, just for people to build dApps and applications using metadata. First of all, so this is very timely. Second of all, IOHK is built quite a lot of tools, right? Like that can basically make it very easy for people to jump from 0 to 1, right? I don't know. Can you tell us a bit about that? Can you give us an example of a tool that you have available that maybe people are not aware that can really make it easier to jump on this?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that, Dor. So there is the usual APIs that you see on Cardano, right? And my team, one of the things that has done on top of it is we have created a series of services for enterprises, for companies, to make it easier for them to actually utilize metadata. Like, for instance, we have an interface that allows Java developers and Scala developers to utilize the same APIs that get exposed by the Cardano node. So, and there is, I believe Alan McSherry is on the chat. He's part of the PSG team, right? So, Alan, if you are there, can you post the links? We'll be sharing. I'm on the Telegram. I will be sharing the links as well. There are YouTube presentations of the different services that you could utilize to make your life easier, integrated with metadata. There will be, beyond this, one of the things that I'll do as well is there's the developers community call. I will start joining it. So if you want to deep dive into it, maybe we can do another session in the next town hall, or maybe we keep it to the dev community, right? I didn't want to deep dive in the technical piece here because I didn't know the audience, right? It could be that the audience is deeply technical, it could not. But if I go to the developer community call, I know what the audience is. So again, for me, this is just the initiation of a series of interactions that hopefully will help you build and make it easy to build on top of Cardano, and also just consider ideas that maybe you just were blocked by the idea that smart contracts were not here yet, right? So, there we will be working with you also on helping out once the fund gets settled, helping out those that were selected even after the fund, after the voting ends, those that have solution proposals, meaning that they are trying to utilize utility. So we will be also there to help them as well.
Okay, you heard that? So there's going to be a lot of support for those of you building on metadata. Thanks, Carlos. I really appreciate you coming over, and I think this is a great bridge, okay, between Catalyst and IOHK, like one of the first collaborations. So thank you, and yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna see you or Alan in the coming weeks again.
Yep.
Take care. Yeah, and for everybody else, just gonna say bye. Enjoy voting. Enjoy feeling like an empowered member of this community, and that have a say how things which things get done, and how we're solving some really big, important problems together. And for all of you proposers that are just like in Fund 4, just getting like ramped up towards preparing your proposal, I wish you the best. Listen carefully to what people are saying to you,